All right. So. All right. Just want to make sure we got some type of congruency here going. What's good, family? Islam, peace. Happy Sunday. So we gonna make this shit clear today. All right. So peace, peace. I'm not even gonna waste too much time. All right, because you already saw the first portion. Now I didn't know the first video ended like that. Hell, ended up hella incomplete. So it's cool. I'm gonna get the full version out today. First thing I'm gonna do is pull up U.C.C. All right. So as you can see, Article 9 dealing with secure transactions. This is 2010. Hold on. See if I got the most recent U.C.C. I'm just seeing here. I do this on y'all one time. I'm gonna keep it simple. Y'all already know what the deal is. Article 9 dealing with secure transactions. Now, specifically 9-311, perfection of security interests in property subject to certain statutes, regulations, and treaties. Treaties, y'all. Okay. A, security interests subject to other law. So what does that mean? That means that off rip, if you want to perfect the security interests, there are other laws you can use outside of the U.C.C. This ain't Brother Koo saying this. This ain't me saying this. All right. Except as otherwise provided in subsection D. Now, before I even get into that, let's go to subsection D. What is subsection D? Inapplicability to certain inventory. Let's see. During any period in which collateral subject to a statute specified in subsection A2 is inventory. What's inventory? Inventory means goods other than farm products. What's farm products? Farm products means goods other than standing timber with respect to which the debtor is engaged in a farming operation, and which are crops grown or to be grown, including crops produced on trees, vines, and bushes, and aquatic goods produced in aquacultural operations, livestock, born or unborn, including aquatic goods produced in aquacultural operations. That aqua today, huh? supplies used or produced in a farming operation, or products or crops or livestock in their unmanufactured states. Inventory means goods other than farm products. Since we know now what farm products are, inventory means goods other than farm products which are leased by a person or leaseor, are held by a person for sale or lease or to be furnished under a contract of service. Contract of service. Are furnished by a person under a contract of service or consist of raw materials, work in process, or materials used or consumed in a business. That's inventory. Let's bring it back now. This is D. Already now is D is collateral subject to statute. Remember, we're not dealing with statute, we're dealing with treaties. So this doesn't apply. D doesn't apply. But let's finish reading it anyway, right? Held for sale or leased by a person or leased by that person or leaseor, and that person is in the business of selling goods of that kind. This section does not apply to a security interest in that collateral created by that person. Okay, so whatever they're talking about in D, don't apply to you. Don't worry about it. Let it go. Let's go back up. A, security interest subject to other law, except as otherwise provided in subsection D, which is dealing with statutes. But remember, we're dealing with treaties, not statutes. Okay. Except as otherwise provided in subsection D, the filing of a financing statement is not necessary or effective to perfect a security interest in property subject to what? Subject to what? 1. A statute, regulation, or treaty of the United States whose requirements for a securities interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor with respect to the property preempt section 9310A. So let's pause. Give me 1 second. Let me get something from my notes. Allergy season is kicking in good, I tell you. All this good sunlight flushing out all this mucus in the blood system. Okay. Cool with that. All right. Y'all with me so far? Both. U.C.C is over and dead, man. I'm gonna break it down why. All right. So let's continue. Mind you, I'm not saying that Moors who utilize U.C.C are wrong or that they're evil. I'm just showing you how I'm functioning and why I don't see the reason for that. You make up your own mind, but I'm not saying Moors are wrong or evil for using U.C.C. Everyone has their reasons. I'm just showing you what the U.C.C said. I'm showing you what I've come across in my research. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm doing. So check it. So the U.C.C can be perfecting a security interest can be subject to other law. Those other laws being a statute, regulation, or treaty of the United States whose requirements for a securities interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor. What's a lien creditor? A lien creditor means a creditor that has acquired a lien on the property involved by attachment, levy, or the like. You know, attachment, that would be like note, mortgage, bond, lien, which are all the same thing. All right. A debt. A creditor that has acquired a lien on the property involved by attachment, levy, or the like. That's what a mortgage is. And so the bank acts as the lien creditor. You get it? And if you don't so-called try to, if you so-called don't pay the mortgage, they foreclose on their lien and they take the property back. An assignee for benefit of creditors from the time of assignment. A trustee in bankruptcy from the date of the filing of the petition, or a receiver in equity from the time of appointment. Okay? This is what lien creditors are. Let's go back. So what it's saying here is that first of all, filing a financing statement is not necessary or effective to perfect the security interest in property subject to a statute, regulation, or treaty of the United States, whose requirements for a security interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor, meaning you have rights that supersede the lien creditor with respect to the property preempt section 9310A. Let's read 9310A real quick. 910A, which is right here. Except as otherwise provided in subsection B and subsection 9312B, a financing statement must be filed to perfect all security interests in agricultural liens. But for one, we're not dealing with that because we're dealing with statutes. And according to what we read in 9311, it says that if it's dealing with statutes, then it's subject to other law, right? But let's read 9312B because it says except as otherwise provided. So let's see what the otherwise is in 9312B. Right here, okay? 9312B. 9312 is dealing with perfection of security interest in chattel paper, deposit accounts, documents, goods covered by documents, instruments, investment property, letter of credit rights, and money. Perfection by permissive filing, temporary perfection with. I will tell you this, though. I'm going to have to come back to this chapter and read this. Letter of credit rights. Okay. B. Control or possession of certain collateral, except as otherwise provided in section 9315C and D for proceeds. A security interest in a deposit account may be perfected only by control under section 9314. And except as otherwise provided in section 9308D, a security interest in a letter of credit right may be perfected only by control under section 9314. Let's look at 9314. Section 9314, perfection by control. A security interest in investment property, deposit accounts, letter of credit rights, or electronic chattel paper may be perfected by control of the collateral under section 9014, 5, 6, or 9017. I'm learning some stuff too as we're going through this. Let me look at this up real quick. Letter of credit rights means a right to payment or performance under a letter of credit, whether or not the beneficiary has demanded or is at the time entitled to demand payment or performance. The term does not include the right of a beneficiary to demand payment or performance under a letter of credit. The term does not include the right of a beneficiary to demand payment, but it means the right to payment or performance under a letter of credit. Okay. So like I said, we can utilize these letters of credit apparently to discharge. However, we can't use it as a demand to just, meaning there has to be a debt in order to be able to utilize a letter of credit. You have to create a debt and then discharge it with that. I'm peeping this as we go along. All right. But like I said, I'm coming back to this. So I'll probably do another joint on that when I done wrap my mind around that portion. That's the next step I need. All right. So 314, this is dealing with perfection by control. Let's see here. Except as otherwise provided in 9315C. You see how they get you lost in a rabbit hole because they keep putting in the little, except as otherwise provided. That's on purpose. to get you discouraged from wanting to keep on searching. Don't get discouraged, all right? Because they don't want you to figure this out, so they're going to make it easy. What was that? 315C, perfection of security interest and proceeds. A security interest in proceeds is a perfected security interest if the security interest in the original collateral was perfected. What's proceeds? Except as used in section 9609B means the following property. Whether is acquired upon the sale, lease, license, exchange, or other disposition of collateral, whatever is collected on or distributed on account of collateral, rights arising out of collateral, to the extent of the value of collateral, claims arising out of the loss, nonconformity, or interference with the use of, defects, or infringement of rights in or damage to the collateral, or E, to the extent of the value of collateral, and to the extent payable to the debtor or the secured party, insurance payable by reason of the loss of nonconformity or defects of infringement of rights in or damage to the collateral. Debtor means a person having an interest other than a security interest or other lien in the collateral, whether or not the person is an obligor. What's collateral? Means the property subject to a security interest or agricultural lien. The term includes proceeds to which a security interest attaches. What can that be attached to? Like a treaty, accounts, chattel paper, birth certificate, payment intangibles, promissory notes that have been sold, and goods that are subject of a consignment. What's that? Means a transaction, regardless of its form, in which a person delivers goods to a merchant for the purpose of sale, and the merchant deals in goods of that kind under a name other than the name of the person making delivery, is not an auctioneer, and is not generally known by its creditors to be substantially engaged in selling the goods of others. Simple. It sounds like a lot. Like I said, I'll come back and make it simple. But I'm doing this on the fly. So let's go back. Let's go back to where we was initially dealing with. But I just want y'all to see how they can lead you and pull you into a hole. Easily get confused. This is why you got to go slow at your own pace. That's why I don't want to do that part now, because I'm going to go fast, because my fast is slow. All right. Let's slow down now. Perfection of security interest, right?
So where do I put this up?
Put that clean.
It's dirty.
Oh,
It's in the back.
okay, you can put it in the bin. Hand fry me. Thank you.
What, in here in the bathroom?
Yeah. All right. So now we already know if you have a perfection of a security interest subject to other law, right? And that other law being statute, regulation, or treaty, it supersedes the rights or the priority of a lien creditor, which would mean someone that has an interest in that property only through an instrument like a mortgage or a note. Okay? So, number 2, list any statute. See, we don't need that. We're not dealing with statute. See, a statute. Number 3, you're still dealing with statutes. All we need is right here. And I don't know if y'all peeped this, because it was the same way with the immigration and citizen joint, right? With the Title 8, 1101, A1. Look at this here. U.C.C. 9-311, Section A1. You think that's coincidence? Section A1. Section A1. A1 status. Dealing with what? Treaty. A1. All right. So now that we know that a filing of a financing statement, what is a financing statement, by the way, right? Let's pull that up. What is a financing statement? Means a record or records composed of an initial financing statement and any filed record relating to the initial financing statement. So now let's look at record, since we're talking about a record. Record, except as used in for record or of record, record or legal title, and record owner means information that is inscribed on a tangible medium or which is stored in an electronic or other medium and is retrievable in perceivable form. That's all the record is. Okay? Record. So, financing statement is a record of a statement dealing with your finances. Might be dealing with your property. So a financing statement would be something like a portfolio. You ever heard of an asset portfolio? That's a financing statement. They're letting you know how much they're bringing in, how much is going out, how much their properties are worth, the value, how much you can sell them, how much they can make. All right, that's an example of a financing statement. So now that we know that filing one is neither necessary or effective to perfect the security interest in property subject to what? A statute, regulation, or treaty of the United States. So, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Because now, right, now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pull up the library real quick. All right. Let's see here. Actually, let me. I don't want to expose too much, right? That's the rights of all private members of SUNEL. But y'all have an idea of, what we got going on. Let me just pull this up real quick. Commercial records. Resolution 75. No. There we go. Okay. All right, y'all. So this is the Library of Congress copy. All right. Photo duplication. Okay. So this is from the Library of Congress. Okay. Here we go. Yes, yes, yes. Hold on. Here we go. Go up. Yes, I'm looking open. I really like Avalon Project because they have exactly what I'll be talking about. 1786. Barbary treaties. Where we at? Treaty with. That one's going to be a good one. I'm going to come back for that one. Give y'all some insight on the 1836 amendment. But right now, okay. All right. Oh, that's the notes. Let's just go to the. All right. So this is our treaty of peace and friendship, y'all. See here. Okay. Y'all with me so far? Y'all with me? The reason why I didn't use the PDF, because the PDF doesn't cover this part, right? I want to get all this part. It went right into the articles. This part is important, all right? Actually, I should see. Let me see something. I'll do that another time. So I'll do that. All right, y'all. I want y'all to read with me carefully. These parts are important. There's a reason why I'm pulling this up, okay? Treaty of Peace and Friendship with additional articles, also ship signals agreement. The treaty was sealed at Morocco with the seal of the Emperor of Morocco, June 23rd, 1786. In our calendar, the 25th day of Shaban, AH 1200. And delivered to Thomas Barclay, American agent, June 28, 1786, first day of Ramadan, AH 1200. Original in Arabic. The additional article was signed and sealed at Morocco on behalf of Morocco, July 15, 1786, 18th day of Ramadan, AH year 1200. Original in Arabic. The ship signals agreement was signed at Morocco, July 6, 1786, the 9th day of Ramadan, year 1200. Okay? Certified English translations of the treaty and of the additional article were incorporated in a document signed and sealed by the ministers plenipotentiary of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, at Paris, January 1st, 1787, and John Adams at London, January 25th, 1787. Treaty and additional article ratified by the United States, July 18th, 1787. As to the ratification generally, see the notes. Treaty and additional article proclaimed July 18th, 1787. Come through this here. Ship signals agreement not specifically included in the ratification and not proclaimed, but copies ordered by Congress July 23rd, 1787, to be sent to the executives of the states. Secret Journals of Congress 4869. But see the notes as to this reference. Okay. Certified translation of the treaty and of the articles with approval by Jefferson and Adams. To all, and this part is important, y'all. This part is important. Okay. To all persons to whom these presents shall come or be made known. Whereas the United States of America in Congress assembled by their commission bearing date the 12th day of May 12th, 1784, thought proper to constitute John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson their ministers plenipotentiary. Ministers. Because everyone's a missionary. Everyone's a missionary. Ministers plenipotentiary, giving to them, or a majority of them, full powers to confer, treat, and negotiate with the ambassador, minister, or commissioner of His Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco, concerning a treaty of amity and what, y'all? Commerce. So the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is a treaty of amity and commerce. So when I say we don't need to step down off of our treaty and utilize codes, is because our treaty is already already dealing with commerce. So why do you need to go to codes to perfect the security interests in your commerce when you already got a treaty that does that already? And then in the U.C.C. itself, it states that perfections of security interests subject to other law. I'm reading our treaty right now, right? You know why? Because right here in perfection of security interests, it states that the filing of a financial statement is not necessary or effective to perfect the security interest in property subject to what? A treaty. A treaty of the United States. What's this treaty about? Ain't this between Morocco and the United States? But let's keep on reading, right? A treaty of amity and commerce. Amity and commerce. To make and receive propositions for such treaty and to conclude and sign the same, transmitting it to the United States in Congress assembled for their final ratification. So this is a treaty with the United States in Congress assembled, y'all. So are we dealing with a treaty of the United States? Hello, United States. Hello, United States. All right. And by one or other, commission bearing date the 11th day of March, 1785, did further empower the said minister plenipotentiary, or a majority of them, by writing under the hands and seal to appoint such agent in the said business as they might think proper with authority, under the directions and instructions of the said ministers, to commence and prosecute the said negotiations and conferences for the said treaty, provided that the said treaty should be signed proper with authority under the directions and instructions of the said ministers. Oh, am I reading the same line again? And whereas we, the said John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, two of the said ministers plenipotentiary, the said Benjamin Franklin was absent, by writing under the hand and seal of the said John Adams at London, October the 5th, and the other of the said Thomas Jefferson at Paris on October the 11th, uh, did appoint Thomas Barclay agent in the business aforesaid. Business. It's all about business, y'all. It's all about business. Always been about business. Get some blueberry. It's always been about business. Oh, man. It's always been about business. So, check this. Giving him the powers therein, which by the said second commission we were authorized to give, and the said Thomas Barclay, in pursuance thereof, hath arranged articles for a treaty of amity and commerce between the United States of America and His Majesty the Emperor of Morocco. Now, obviously at this point, it shouldn't be a mystery as to which side of this treaty we stand on, right? Y'all should comprehend very well. Okay? Which side are we standing on? What side of the treaty are we standing on, y'all? Anyone can type in the go ahead, I always faster. What side of the treaty we standing, y'all? What side? Anybody? What side? What side do we stand on as far as the treaty goes between Morocco and the United States? Huh? Correct, but I want to be specific, right? This is a treaty of amity and commerce between the United States of America and His Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco. So which side of the treaty do we stand on? Specifically, are we part of the United States of America? Or are we with the Emperor of Morocco? Obviously, it's a no-brainer, right? Being that this government, this empire, is older than this one. It's older. Morocco's older than this. Morocco is the child, or I should say, Morocco is the mother of America. That's how they got America. They broke it out of Morocco. All right. So no different than how they took Cherokee or how they took Anuia or Tasaligi, right? Or they'll say Olmec when it's really she, or Wushita. You understand what I'm saying? And then they'll make it something weird. Like I said, they'll take Tasaligi or Anuia and say Cherokee. No different. They took Morocco or the Maghreb and then they said America. It's cool though. All right. Which articles written in the Arabic language, confirmed by His said Majesty the Emperor of Morocco, and sealed with his royal seal, being translated into the language of the United States of America, together with the attestations thereto annexed, are in the following words to wit. And then here comes the treaty. Let's look up something though. Let's look up the word amity. The weird stuff going on here. So let me back out. I'm being lazy because I don't feel like pulling out my Black's Law right now. Would prefer to just keep everything online. I already know it's there. Oh, Black's Law. See here. Man, they sure making it difficult just to find the word amity. So, seriously. Wow. Let's rock out with Merriam-Webster first. Be right back. All right. Amity. And since the computer want to act funny, since the computer want to act funny, I'll break out my Black's Law. Whatever. So we'll pull this up first. Amity. That's why it's good to have the hard copy, man. Sometimes you ain't gonna find what you want exactly online. If you got a hard copy, you know what the hard copy say. You could rock out. So let's see here. Commerce. So what is amity? Friendship, especially friendly relations between nations, an era of international amity. So amity is friendly relations between nations. Okay? So when we see this is a treaty of amity and commerce, let me see if I can here. Yes, let me see. Huh. Not in my fault. Amity. That's interesting. Hold on, y'all. Make sure I ain't tripping. I gotta be sure at all times. All right, I ain't tripping. It's in my unabridged, so it's real. Bam. Amity. Oh yeah. Amity is in the unabridged. Amity. Noun, French. Amitié, a supposed late Latin. Amicias, from Latin. Amicus, friendly, from amare, to love. Friendship between individuals, societies, or nations. Friendship between. So amity is friendship between individuals, societies, or nations. Harmony, good understanding. Synonyms: friendship, attachment, esteem, goodwill, comity, harmony, peace. All right. So amity is amare, to love. That's actually one of my titles. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Amity comes from amare, which means peace. Yeah, I realize. Cool mare. Suit L. Okay. That's pretty dope. I learn new stuff about myself all the time. All right. With me so far? I'm taking it slow, y'all. Yeah, I saw Amy. Hold on. I did see Amy. And you're right. Now that I saw the etymology, let me go back to Black's Law. AMI. And I'm gonna pull it up online. You're right. Yes, I do. It's right here. AMI. So they want to pull it online so people can see it. There we go. Man, online is acting funny, boy. I tell you. I got it right here in the book. Cha, 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 cha. You can see I already know what an alien is. They got Ambi right here. I just don't understand why they don't got Ambi by itself. Try to make it simple. CM. All right, y'all. I'm just gonna pull it up to the thing here. AMI. Make sure y'all can see this. Let me pull out the books. See that? AMI. AMI. A friend. As alien Ami. Omi. An alien belonging to a nation at peace with us. Prochian. Ami. A next friend suing or defending for an infant, married woman, etc. All right, so the term protein is in there. Damn it. Protein. And looks great. That's gonna work out. All right. Protein. If I got this, if I'm understanding this properly, the protein thing is part of that term too. Yeah, it's there. I just don't like how they don't make it accessible. Like I should be able to click the link and go, but it ain't my setup. Anyway, amity. So we understand what amity is. Sorry that took so long. Let's get back on track. We got amity. What I want now is commerce. What is commerce? Intercourse by way of trade between different peoples or states and the citizens or inhabitants thereof. Different peoples, man. Including not only the purchase, sale, and exchange of commodities, but also the instrumentalities and agencies by which it is promoted and the means and appliances by which it is carried on, and the transportation of persons as well as of goods, both by land and by sea. Commerce, commercial, trademark. Keep going down. Start from right here. Commerce is a term of the largest import. It comprehends intercourse for the purpose of trade in any and all its forms, including the transportation, purchase, sale, and exchange of commodities between the citizens of our country and the citizens or subjects of other countries, and between the citizens of different states. The power to regulate it embraces all the instruments by which such commerce may be conducted. Commerce is not limited to an exchange of commodities only, but includes as well intercourse with foreign nations and between the states, and includes the transportation of passengers. The words commerce and trade are synonymous but not identical. They are often used interchangeably, but strictly speaking, commerce relates to intercourse or dealings with foreign nations, states, or political communities, while trade denotes business intercourse or mutual traffic within the limits of a state or nation, or the buying, selling, and exchanging of articles between members of the same community. So that's the difference between trade and commerce. Okay, y'all? Commerce is dealing with international, it's dealing with two different peoples. Trade is dealing with domestic, dealing with the same peoples. So, for example, What I do between me and my members of Sunel is trade. When we go outside of Sunel and do and conduct business, that's commerce. Because we're not the same. I'm subject to one jurisdiction, they're subject to the jurisdiction of Washington. You understand? Two different jurisdictions. So that's it right there. You got trade and commerce, but we got to understand this is a treaty of amity, meaning friendship, meaning peace, meaning harmony between two different nations, and commerce, meaning doing business commercially, exchanging commodities between different peoples, meaning nations. All right, so the treaty in itself is international. All right, got those two things covered. Now I'm going to pull up, let me read these comments real quick. Exactly. That's all amity is, friendship, right? This is a treaty of peace and friendship, aka a treaty of amity and commerce, meaning we're dealing internationally. That being said, we're gonna pull up my favorite title. Actually, before we do that, right? Because we're going into creditors, right? All right. United States Code 914, creditors of the United States. Okay. Whoever falsely personates any true and lawful holder of any share or sum in the public stocks or debt of the United States, or any person entitled to any annuity, dividend, pension, wages, or other debt due from the United States, and under color of such false personation, transfers or endeavors to transfer such public stock or any part thereof, or receives or endeavors to receive the money of such true and lawful holder thereof, or the money of any person really entitled to receive such annuity, dividend, pension, wages, or other debt, shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 5 years or both. So what's that saying is if you're not in your proper person and you're trying to transfer property that's under the jurisdiction of the United States to a foreign trust without you first not being a citizen of the United States, meaning you're in your proper person, in your proper state of mind, then you are impersonating a creditor. Because a creditor is an heir. A creditor is a holder. What's a holder mean? What do we mean by holder? We're going to find out. Holder. A holder of a bill of exchange, promissory note, or check is the person who has legally acquired the possession of the same. What's possession? Possession, the detention and control, or the manual or ideal custody of anything which may be the subject of property. Don't that sound like the birth certificate, y'all, when y'all get that authenticated and you become the registered owner or the holder in due course and it's under your possession? It's under your control, it's under your custody, and that bond is a subject of property or collateral for one's use and enjoyment, either as owner or as the proprietor of a qualified right in it, and either held personally or by another who exercises it in one's place and name. That condition of facts under which one can exercise his power over a corporeal thing at his pleasure. Corporeal meaning it's visible. Corporeal would be like an automobile. Possession of an automobile, you can use at any moment. You got the keys to the car, you can step outside, put the keys in the ignition, and take off any moment you want. Okay? It's available to you. And it's corporeal. You can it's tangible. Okay? his power over a corporal thing at his pleasure to the exclusion of all other persons, meaning it's private, meaning everyone who is not associated or a party of that trust gets skirt. They are excluded out. It's like a secret club. If you're not a part of it, then you're out of it. You don't have access to those benefits that those in the society have, right? That's basic governmental law. I can't have those things that are offered to Kenyans because I'm not a citizen of Kenya. You understand? So I can't go to Kenya and get those things that Kenyan citizens have because people don't go around nations offering everything they have to other people without giving to their own first. Oh, I'm sorry. United States does that. Weird. Are you a U.S. citizen though? Let's find out. We're gonna find out though. Okay. So a creditor. Okay. So don't falsely impersonate a creditor because a creditor is a holder. Now, you can't be a holder. See, I couldn't be a holder of Reginald Jules as Reginald Jules. You understand what I'm saying? Because Reginald Jules is not my proper title. It's not my title of nobility. My title of nobility is Ku'un. All right, Ku'un L. That's my title of nobility. I was about to say my whole title, but I don't need to do that. All right, Ku'un L is my title of nobility. So Ku'un L is the holder, and Ku'un L is in its proper person. In proprio persona su juris su heritis, okay, solo proprio. Ku'un L is the holder of the public stock or the public bond or the public debt or the estate known as Reginald Claudel Jules, which is on a birth certificate, which I got authenticated and did all that stuff right. And then I attach my affidavit of beneficial ownership. I'll let y'all see what that look like. And there's other names for it. Uh, affidavit of conveyance. You know what I'm saying? Everyone gives their things different names, which is perfectly fine. As God, you have the right to name things. Okay, that's what we do. So creditors. Now let's fall back here. Now we're going to go to U.S.C. Title 18911. Oh, you are correct. Check it. Citizen of the United States. Whoever falsely and willfully represents himself to be a citizen of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. Represents. You see, we as in your proper person, you can only present yourself. There's no need to represent yourself. So, this is what happens when you impersonate a U.S. citizen. Let's find out what a U.S. citizen is. You know how you find that out? Oh. Let's see here. See. There we go. 1108 definitions. Okay. We've been through here before, right? Alien means any person not a citizen or national of the United States, right? Let's see here. I'm sure. It's 1101A. I gotta go down for that one. Hold on. That's 22. 22, 22. All right. See here. See here. Naturalization means the conferring of a nationality of a state upon a person after birth by any means whatsoever. National of the United States. The term national of the United States means A, a citizen of the United States, or B, a person who, though not a citizen of the United States, owes permanent allegiance to the United States. Treaty. Oh. Um, Steps to naturalization. See this form right here? They got different forms you can fill out, right? To apply for citizenship. Okay? Dealing with naturalization. I'm going to pull up for y'all is here we go. Now, naturalization process. Step one. Oh, let's go. All right. You're going to rock out with me, y'all. Step one. Determine if you are already a U.S. citizen. You can become a U.S. citizen by birth or through naturalization. Generally, people are born U.S. citizens if they are born in the United States or if they are born abroad to U.S. citizens. You may also derive U.S. citizenship as a minor following the naturalization of one or both parents. I'm going to show y'all where this gets interesting. So if you continue to read, these are the forms, if at least one of your parents is a U.S. citizen, these are the forms you would fill out. And 600, y'all can go through that on your own time. What to do? If you are not a U.S. citizen by birth or did not acquire or derive U.S. citizenship from your parents automatically after birth, go to the next step. In general, you may qualify for naturalization if you are at least 18 years old and have been a permanent resident for at least 5 years or 3 years. If you are married to a U.S. citizen and meet all other eligibility requirements. Step 3. Prepare Form N-400, application for naturalization. All right. Submit Form N-400, application for naturalization. Step 5. Go to the biometrics appointment if applicable. USCIS requires applicants to be fingerprinted and photographed for the purpose of conducting Federal Bureau of Investigation criminal background checks. All applicants must have background checks completed before USCIS will schedule an interview. Complete the interview. Once all the preliminary processes on your case are complete, USCIS will schedule an interview with you to complete the naturalization process. What to expect. At the interview, you will meet with the USCIS officer and ask the questions about your form. If you are requesting a medical exception to the English and civics testing requirements, submit Form N648. You will take the English and civics test. See? Civics. Civics. Unless exempt. Application for naturalization. For more information, USCIS will provide you with a notice of interview. In some cases, the USCIS officer will not be able to make a decision on your Form N400 the day of your naturalization interview. Application continued. The most common reasons for continuation are you failed the English and or civics tests. The USCIS officer determines you need to provide additional documents / evidence. Step 7. Receive a decision from USCIS on your N4. You will be issued a written notice of decision. If they approve, the evidence on the record establishes your eligibility for naturalization. Denied, if they deny your Form N400, if the evidence on the record establishes you are not eligible for naturalization. Application denied, what to do. Receive a notice to take the oath of allegiance. If you go through, right, what to expect. You may be able to participate in the oath ceremony on the same day as your interview. If a same-day oath ceremony is unavailable, USCIS will mail you a notification with the date, time, and location of your scheduled oath ceremony. If you cannot attend the oath ceremony on the day USCIS scheduled you, return the USCIS notice for Notice of Naturalization Oath Ceremony, that's the N445 form. Notice of Naturalization Oath Ceremony to your local USCIS office. Include a letter explaining why you cannot attend the oath ceremony. Ask USCIS to reschedule you. All right. 9. Take the oath of allegiance to the United States. You are not a U.S. citizen until you take the oath of allegiance at a naturalization ceremony. What more do I got to say, y'all? You is not a U.S. citizen until you take the oath. And the prophet said, just because you're born here doesn't make you a citizen. It don't. Because at the end of the day, as in any government, okay? In any government, unless you state otherwise, you know what I'm saying? The assumption is you're under their jurisdiction, but you have to state otherwise. And then when you state otherwise, there are things that start to come into the light. Like, hey, now I know you made the birth certificate entity a U.S. citizen. The straw is a U.S. citizen. I didn't take an oath of allegiance to protect and defend the Constitution for the United States. The United States took an oath to defend and protect the Empire of Morocco. The United States took an oath to us, not the other way around. So it's backwards for us to have to naturalize when we already gave them authority via the treaty to do commerce. So why do we need to be adopted into their system via naturalization? You are not a U.S. citizen until you take the oath of allegiance at a naturalization ceremony. Has anybody taken the oath of allegiance at a naturalization ceremony? The oath is administered by a USCIS at an administrative ceremony or by a judge in a judicial ceremony. A court has exclusive authority to conduct the ceremonies in certain USCIS districts. You receive your certificate of naturalization after taking the oath of allegiance. So one thing I should know, y'all, is certificate. Whenever you see certificate is dealing with commerce. Don't take my word for it, though. Certificate, a written assurance or official representation that some act has or has not been done, or some event occurred, or some legal formality been complied with, particularly such written assurance made or issuing from some court and designed as a notice of things done therein, or as a warrant or authority to some other court, judge, or officer. A document in use in the English custom house, no goods can be exported by certificate, except foreign goods formally imported on which the whole or a part of the customs paid on importation is to be drawn back. Let me break that down for y'all, because everything tells you the truth. Look at this. A document in use in the English custom house, no goods can be exported by certificate except foreign goods formally imported on which the whole or part of the customs paid on importation is to be drawn back. So understand that when your mom informed on not only me but everyone else and got that birth certificate, she literally brought us because she was coming in from the jurisdiction of Morocco when she came with us when we were born. We're coming from we were already in the jurisdiction of Morocco when we were born. It wasn't until she signed us over as an informant that's when the birth certificate gets made. You understand? Because no goods can be exported except for foreign goods. So before the birth certificate was made, we were considered foreign goods. That's the only reason why it's a certificate. Certificates dealing with foreign goods. We're talking about imported, exporting products, right? Commodities. So that alone, being the fact that you have a birth certificate, states that alone proves that you were brought from a foreign jurisdiction into the United States due to the fact that they are exchanging goods on that birth certificate. You got Wall Street, you got the stock exchange, you got NASDAQ. All these things are being traded. Now, goods can't be traded unless they're foreign goods. So the foreign goods that are being traded are you, what you can bring to the world, your intellectual property, your corporal and your incorporeal hereditaments, meaning your inheritance. Whatever you bring to the table, your talents, your mind, your skills, your intelligence, your love, whatever it is you can bring that creates or gives life. That's what they're trading. They're living off of our virtues. All right. And the only reason they can trade those certificates is if the goods that certificate is supporting are foreign goods. They're telling you to your face that you're foreign. This is a good one. I'm going to download this real quick. I'm going to save that into the drive already. I'll put that into the library. Let me see. Bridge. Put that in one. That's cool. All right. All right. All right. Let's continue. I'm going to come back to the Avalon Project, right? So we understand what amity is, friendship. We understand what commerce is. All right. We understand the fact that according to U.C.C, you can perfect interests um, with laws that with laws other than uniform commercial codes. We understand the fact that a treaty is a treaty of amity and commerce. We understand the fact also that if you haven't taken an oath of allegiance in a formal way before a USCIS officer or officer of the court, then you are not a true U.S. citizen. Actually, due to the fact you're not a U.S. citizen, because you never took an oath of allegiance, you're actually impersonating a U.S. citizen. And if you're trying to authenticate your birth certificate and trying to play the whole sovereign citizen thing game, you're also impersonating a creditor of the United States, because a U.S. citizen cannot be a creditor of the United States, because a U.S. citizen is the collateral of the United States. The creditor can't be the collateral at the same time. You can't be the person eating the food and be the food at the same time. Can you be the person eating the food and the food on the spoon or the fork? Can you be you and the food on the plate at the same time? No, you can't. It's either you're the person eating or you're being eaten. All right. So you can't impersonate a creditor. If you haven't gone through the naturalization process, you're impersonating a U.S. citizen. All right. And then, oh, let me not pass this part. All right. Let's go down. Compliance with other law. How does that work, right? How do you make it work with the treaty? Check it out. Compliance with the requirements of a statute, regulation, or treaty described in subsection A for obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor is equivalent to the filing of a financing statement under this article, except as otherwise provided in subsection D and sections 913 and 9316D. That's dealing with statutes, right? And E for goods covered by certificate of title. A security interest in property subject to a statute, regulation, or treaty described in subsection A may be perfected only by compliance with those requirements, and a security interest so perfected remains perfected notwithstanding a change in the use or transfer of possession of the collateral. Compliance with those requirements. What are those requirements, y'all? As an heir, you woke back up, you realized who you were, you said, yo, I need to get my certificate of live birth. Then I need to get that certified by the courts, then by the Secretary of State. Then I need to get that authenticated by the Department of State, in which it was delivered back to you via mail from the Department of State. Now it's in your control. You have the official authenticated birth certificate. You have the annex number. You're the holder in due course. Those are the requirements. Because you're you and you're functioning through your treaty. It's really that simple, because the filing of a financing statement is not necessary nor effective. Necessary or effective. Especially if you got a treaty. So let's come back here. All right. And also, too, like I said, if you want to understand what I'm talking about, right here. If an American citizen shall die in our country and no will shall appear, the consul shall take possession of his effects. And if there shall be no consul, the effects shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust, until the party shall appear who has a right to demand them. Until the party shall appear who has a right to demand them. That party is, who they're talking about is the lien creditor. So if a creditor comes and they have a lien, and they show they have a lien by a mortgage or attachment or a deed of trust, okay, for the property, then that's that. That's what's being spoken of here. Until the party shall appear who has a right to demand them. But, 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 if the heir to the person deceased to be present, the property shall be delivered to him without interruption, and if a will shall appear, the property shall descend agreeable to that will as soon as the consul shall declare the validity thereof. You know what the will is, y'all? Just X'd out of the will. You know what the will is? We're reading the will. This is the will right here. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship. This is the will. The Barbary Treaties is the will. Okay? This is the will they talk about. So we're literally reading the laws of our will. Are you a party to this will? More? Are you? Okay? Now, What's the next thing? Okay. So let's go. Citizens of the United States. Boom. So you already know where that is at, right? You good on that? We know what it takes to be a U.S. citizen. You take an oath of allegiance, right? Ah, okay. So we're going to go to 15. The term immigrant means every alien except an alien who is within one of the following classes of non-immigrant aliens. 15A1, an ambassador, public minister, or career diplomatic or consular officer. What's a consular officer? Means any consular, diplomatic, or other officer or employee of the United States designated under regulations prescribed under authority contained in this chapter for the purpose of issuing immigrant or non-immigrant visas, or when used in subchapter 3 for the purpose of adjudicating nationality. So if you're adjudicating nationality, that's dealing with what? Consulars. Okay. Consular courts. Okay. You have a society, you have your own court. That's called the consular court. Okay. You're gonna find out something funny too, right? About Congress. Check this. All right. You got 15A1. An ambassador, public minister, career diplomatic, or consular officer who has been accredited by a foreign government recognized de jure by the United States. Recognized de jure. See, Morocco's de jure because the United States recognizes this treaty because it's the longest lasting treaty in world history till this day. As I'm breathing in this very moment, it's still the long lasting treaty in world history. Your treaty, de jure, by the United States and who is accepted by the President or by the Secretary of State and the members of the alien's immediate family. What's so hard about that? Let's go to 15E. An alien entitled to enter the United States under and in pursuance of the provisions of a treaty of commerce and navigation between the United States and the foreign state of which he is a national. Hello? More, more, more. What's up? So there's a difference between more and citizen of the United States. Now, in the original Arabic translation, it says Muslim and Christian. So just to get a clear understanding, us as Moors are the Muslims, and the citizens of the United States are the Christians. Okay? Understand that. So who are you? What country are you a national of? What country are you a national of? That has a treaty of commerce and navigation between your country and the United States of which you are a national of. A treaty of commerce and navigation between the United States and the foreign state of which he is a national. So they got more, right? And we're dealing with more Akko. I'm doing all this to show you that there are things in place that supersede the U.C.C. We got to get a clear understanding. Yes. All right. And an American national is alien. An American national is an alien to the United States. American nationals are Muslims. They're not Christians. You understand? A Christian, and when I say Christian, I mean Christian in the sense of the, well, it's not really Christian. It's really Constantinian, right? But y'all know what I mean. So if you're not going to be Muslim and live and abide by the Muslim tenets and rules of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the customary laws of our treaties, then you're going to be subject to the laws of the Christian nation. It's your choice. You can do commerce. It's international. It's meant for intercourse between nations. But those treaties are in place to protect those people as they do commerce with different nations. So you got to figure out, are you part of a different nation or are you part of the United States? I can put two and two together. Can you put two and two together? Because they say your name in this treaty more. More. This is Morocco more. Understand that. Understand that. So what's the next thing that I'll put oh, here we go. So let me go back. I did this one a while back, but I'll pull it back up. What was that? Yep, Alien and Seditions Act. Uh-huh. Let's see here. It looks like an add-on, so I'll read that too. Let's read this real quick, and then I'll read that afterward. Be right back. I'll let y'all marinate on that for a second, fam. All right. All right. So, an act respecting alien enemies. Okay. Section 1. Being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assemble, that whenever there shall be a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government, or any invasion or predatory incursion shall be perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government, and the President of the United States shall make public proclamation of the event, all natives, citizens, denizens, or subjects of the hostile nation or government, being males of the age of 14 years and upwards, who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized, shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, and removed as alien enemies, and the President of the United States shall be and is hereby authorized in any event as aforesaid by his proclamation thereof or other public act to direct the conduct to be observed on the part of the United States towards the aliens who shall become liable as aforesaid, the manner and degree of the restraint to which they shall be subject, and in what cases and upon what security their residence shall be permitted, and to provide for the removal of those who, not being permitted to reside within the United States, shall refuse or neglect to depart therefrom, and to establish any other regulations which shall be found necessary in the premises and for the public safety, provided that alien residents within the United States who shall become liable as enemies in the manner aforesaid, and who shall not be agreeable with actual hostility, and who shall not be chargeable with actual hostility or other crime against the public safety, shall be allowed for the recovery, disposal, and removal of their goods and effects, and for their departure the full time which is or shall be stipulated by any treaty, where any shall have been between the United States and the hostile nation or government of which they shall be natives, citizens, denizens, or subjects. And where no such treaty shall have existed, the President of the United States may ascertain and declare such reasonable time as may be consistent with the public safety and according to the dictates of humanity and national hospitality. Where no such treaty is dictated. But the main thing is, and I read past it a while ago, all males 14 and upwards who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized. So how many of y'all's within the United States and not actually naturalized? That's a good question to ask yourself. How many of us are in the United States claiming to be black, African American, minority, citizen, I'm a Washingtonian, I'm an Arizonian, I'm a dissin, I'm a datin. How many of us do that? Just have state ID, straw name, English name, don't belong to you by blood. How many of us have that? Well, actually, it is by blood. They are our cousins, but that's not our real inheritance. They actually try to come over here and take our shit. So how many of us are walking around every day thinking we know who we are, not knowing that you're impersonating a U.S. citizen every day of the week because you never taken an oath of allegiance? How you gonna claim you gonna be for somebody, but you never formally took an oath stating that, hey, I'm down for you. No different than the tribe. Everyone who's in Sunel has to be voted in. Even myself, I was voted in, and I helped create the motherfucking tribe. Just so you understand the level of respect for the process. All right? So, what are we really saying here? We walk around claiming to be part of something that we never took an oath to. We never said, yo, I give my life to this, or yo, I pledge my to this. I pledge. You never did that formally, and don't tell me that's being formal when you do a pledge of allegiance every day in school, because that's not formal. That wasn't before an officer of the court, where it's on record, you specifically relinquishing all allegiance to all foreign sovereigns, monarchs, etc., etc. Okay? So if you haven't naturalized, you're gonna be in some serious doo-doo. All right? Serious doo-doo. So check this one. This is an act in addition to the act entitled An Act for the Punishment of Certain Crimes Against the United States. Section 1. Being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that if any person shall unlawfully combine or conspire together with intent to oppose any measure or measures of the government of the United States, which are or shall be directed by proper authority, or to impede the operation of any law of the United States, or to intimidate any or prevent any person holding a place of office in or under the government of the United States from undertaking, performing, or executing his trust or duty. Are these words popping out to y'all now? And if any person or persons with intent as aforesaid shall counsel, advise, or attempt to procure any insurrection, riot, unlawful assembly, or combination, whether such conspiracy, threatening, counsel, advice, or attempt shall have the proposed effect or not, he or they shall be deemed guilty of a high misdemeanor, and on conviction before any court of the United States having jurisdiction thereof, shall be punished by a fine not exceeding $5,000, and by imprisonment during a term not less than 6 months, nor exceeding 5 years. And further, at the discretion of the court, may be holden to find sureties for his good behavior in such sum and for such time as the said court may direct. Section 2. And be it further enacted, that if any person shall write, print, utter, or publish, or shall cause or procure to be written, printed, uttered, or published, or shall knowingly and willingly assist or aid in writing, printing, uttering, or publishing any false, scandalous, and malicious writing or writings against the government of the United States, or either House of the Congress of the United States, or the President of the United States, with intent to defame the said government, or either House of the said Congress, or the said President, or to bring them or either of them into contempt or disrepute, or to excite against them or any of them the hatred of the good people of the United States, or to stir up sedition within the United States, or to excite any unlawful combinations therein, for opposing or resisting any law of the United States, any act of the President of the United States done in pursuance of any such law, or of the powers in him vested by the Constitution of the United States, or to resist, oppose, or defeat any such law or act, or to aid, encourage, or abet any hostile designs of any foreign nation against the United States, their people, or government, then such person being therefore convicted before any court of the United States having jurisdiction thereof, shall be punished by a fine not exceeding $2,000 and by imprisonment not exceeding 2 years. Section 3. Be it further enacted and declared that if any person shall be prosecuted under this act for the writing or publishing any libel aforesaid, it shall be lawful for the defendant, upon the trial of the cause, to give in evidence in his defense the truth of the matter contained in republication charged as a libel. And the jury who shall try the cause shall have a right to determine the law and the fact under the direction of the court as in other cases. And be it further enacted that this act shall continue and be enforced until the 3rd day of March, 1801, and no longer provided that the expiration of the act shall not prevent or defeat a prosecution and punishment of any offense against the law during the time it shall be enforced. What is that saying, y'all? That is saying that being within the United States, but not being fully naturalized, makes you an alien. Yes, it makes you an alien. The only problem with that is it makes you an undocumented alien. It makes you an enemy alien because you're trading with the Enemies Act. Because the United States of America in Congress assemble, the United States of America in Congress assemble, the government that our ancestors constructed for a more perfect union between us and the 13 colonies that were over here, right? So, if you're pretending to be a U.S. citizen, you're alien. If you're alien, you're hostile. There's certain things in place for you. Now, if you have a treaty in place, they know how to treat you. No, we can't be hostile to him. Move him out the way. If you don't have a treaty in place and you haven't gone through the naturalization process, you haven't taken an oath to the United States, you're stateless. You're stateless. That's why you're being abused by the other citizens, because you're stateless. You haven't taken an oath to anybody. And the only reason why you're stateless is because you think you're stateless. You think you don't have a nation that you came from prior to the existence of the United States of America. That's what you think. And therefore, because you think that, right? Because so man thinketh, so is he. So because you think that, you didn't come from a government or a nation or a peoples that predate the United States, then it makes you stateless because you can't tap into that ancestry far back enough to be able to connect and still be protected today in so-called 2018. There's a disconnect. You can't go back past 1781. So because of the fact you can't go back past 1781, you'll never be able to make the connection with 1786, 1491. You'll never be able to make those connections because you can't go that far back. So you're limited mentally. That's why the prophet said the only shackles are in the mind. You're free. The only bounds and chains are here in your mind because you think a certain way. Right? So this is why we don't need to naturalize. We need to nationalize. We need to declare who we are. We need to declare that we do come from an ancient government that that precedes the United States of America, that is on congressional record as being in existence, and that you are the heir. You are the more that is mentioned in that treaty. You're the beneficiary of that will, and everything you do is going to be subject to that will. Even the will that you make, the will that I make, is subject to the treaty, right? Bang with your treaty. Bang with the treaty. Bang. Bang. Bang hard. All right? All right? Bang hard. Bang hard with the treaty, y'all. Let's see what we have. Yeah, that was a good movie too by Will Smith. Enemy of the State. All right. All right. So, try to check this out. Where we at with that? Damn, I just had in my mind what I was going to pull up too. Oh, right. Pull this up real quick. Um, I forgot I was working on a PowerPoint called Wakanda. Where we at? New American States. Man. All right. Okay. This is another good PowerPoint. I need to wrap up. I need to find certain things there first. Let's see here. Um, Find it. Let's see here. Cha, 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 cha. Okay. Here's the one I wanted to show you. All right. So this is a Supreme Court case coming out of. Oh, it's not gonna bang like that for me. There we go. All right. In the case of Jones versus McMasters, 1857, 20 How 8, Mr. Justice Nelson, in delivering the opinion of the court in a case involving the question of citizenship, said the plaintiff was born under the dominion of the Mexican Republic in what afterwards became the state of Texas. Did y'all grasp that? In the case of Jones versus McMasters, 1857, 20 How 8. Okay? Mr. Justice Nelson, in delivering the opinion of the court in a case involving the question of citizenship, said the plaintiff was born under the dominion of the Mexican Republic in what afterwards became the state of Texas. So, what do you think would happen if the person they're questioning in regards to their citizenship was not aware that the area that they call Texas was once before known as Mexico? What if she didn't know that? Then that would make her stateless unless she were to take an oath of allegiance to the state of Texas. You understand? And has lived under it ever since her birth. Let me start from the top. In the case of Jones versus McMasters, 1857, Mr. Justice Nelson, in delivering the opinion of the court in a case involving the question of citizenship, said the plaintiff was born under the dominion of the Mexican Republic in what afterwards became the state of Texas, and has lived under it ever since her birth, she having been removed by her parents into the territory of Mexico proper before the Declaration of Texan Independence. Before the Declaration of Texan Independence. So that means she was born and her parents had removed her into the territory of Mexico. So this was done before that area became Texas. And beyond all question, therefore, is a citizen of that government owing it allegiance. Did you have a statement? And beyond all question, therefore, is a citizen of that government. What government? Of Mexico. Because her parents put her into the territory of Mexico prior to it being Texas. So therefore, beyond all questions, therefore, is a citizen of that government, owing it allegiance, which has never been interrupted or changed. Has never been interrupted or changed. So what I'm trying to say, family, is that your nationality as a Moor has never been interrupted or changed, except for in your mind. That's the only place that happened. Okay? Let's keep going. There has been no act of hers or of anyone competent to represent her or to determine her election, indicating an intention to throw off this allegiance and to attach herself to the new sovereignty of Texas. Don't that sound like naturalization to y'all? Like, come on, man. That's naturalization. So being the fact that they don't got nothing on record where there's an act of hers, there has been no act of hers or of anyone competent to represent her, or to determine her election, indicating an intention to throw off this allegiance and to attach herself to the new sovereignty of Texas. So if she never said, "Yo, I want to become a Texan," I give my oath, I pledge my allegiance to the state of Texas. If she never voluntarily said she wanted to do that or was interested in doing that, then the assumption is she's still tied to her original government. Now, having been born and having always lived under the old government. Let's read that again, man. Having been born and having always lived under the old government, the burden rested upon the defendants, who claimed that she was not a citizen of the new one, to establish the fact of the change of her allegiance. The burden of proof is on the defendants, it's not on you. That's why I keep saying that if anyone claims that you are not who you say you are, the burden of proof is not on you to be like, well, I got my affidavit here, I got my treaty here, I got my this here, I got my DNA test there. The burden of proof is not on you. You never took you never went through naturalization. You never made an oath of allegiance. So the assumption is that you have never relinquished your Moorish nationality. Never. Never. Something to think about. So the burden of proof is on who? The person who's claiming that you aren't who you say you are. And then when they fail to prove that you are not, when they fail to prove that you're lying about that, then you can sue them for defamation of character. Because now they're disgracing your national origin, your ancestry, and your religious creed. Fuck up their pockets. They don't want that problem. Trust me. They don't want problems with God. That's why they don't play around with your religion. They don't play around with your trust. All right? So, being that she always lived under the old government, the burden rested upon the defendants who claimed that she was a citizen of a new one. Because the defendants were claiming that she was a Texan. But she doesn't have anything on record claiming that, yo, I pledge my allegiance to Texas and I relinquish my allegiance to Mexico. So, since she never did that voluntarily of her own right, then the defendants got to prove that she's a citizen of Texas. To establish the fact of the change of her allegiance, the facts set up in the plea proved the contrary. According to these, the plaintiff was 19 years old when this suit was commenced, and between 22 and 23 years when the plea was put into the jurisdiction. If she was competent to make an election while a minor, but after she had arrived at mature years, as to the government to which she would owe allegiance, the presumption upon the facts is that she has made it in favor of the one under which she has lived since her birth. If she was incompetent to make it during her minority, then the allegiance due at her birth continued and existed at the time of the commencement of the suit. Do you know what that's saying? That's saying that due to her competency, due to her incompetency, okay, in her competent years, right? They say between 21 and 22. They claim you reach the age of maturity at 18, right? But that's a lie. You don't reach the age of majority until you show a level of competency, meaning you have a nationality. You're not playing a colored game, okay? So until you can do that, you're not of majority, okay? And since you're not of majority, you aren't in a position to make decisions for yourself. So the assumption is if the parents birthed you in Mexico and in your entire minority, you never made the change. You never elected to say, hey, I want to relinquish this and move to Texas. Then by default, you remain a citizen of the old government still, regardless. But this is where the slope gets slippery, see, because she knows that she was born in Mexico before it was Texas, right? Her parents did that. Did we know that? Did I know that before I came into so-called Maryland that I was coming into Morocco? Did I know that? No. But yet, throughout my lifetime, I never took an oath of allegiance or went through a naturalization process to become a U.S. citizen. So therefore, I never relinquished formally my Moorish nationality. I never relinquished it. I was pretending to be a U.S. citizen and pretending to be a creditor, but I never relinquished my nationality. Although I was acting or thinking like a European, acting like an Englishman. I had an English name. I was trying to work. Everything was about commerce, 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 commerce. I need to get a job, better job, raise, so I can make more money, so I can do more things. It's like all material bullshit. Okay, with no substance, no substance at all. So this is what I'm trying to say, y'all. We never relinquished our allegiance to the old government, and that old government being Morocco. All right, the Maghreb Al Aqsa, Morocco, the extreme west. That's our home. That is our home. And I want to pull up. See, now I'm gonna pull up. A second. 1500s, I believe. All right. I know where I'm about to go for this one. Where is it? All right. Bam. I need this page 459. Okay. Boom. So let's go. Okay. All right. Here we go. It's dealing with Morocco. All right. Morocco. There are, strictly speaking, no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. Moorish subjects in Morocco. Moors, Morocco. The fundamental laws of the non-Christian country. The fundamental laws of the non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. Right? Next part. There are, however, start from right here. There are, however, numerous. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire. And yes, there are numerous treaties between the Moorish Empire and the various Christian countries. Okay? By means of which citizenship in this country is defined. So the citizenship of Moors is defined within the treaty. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instructions that it is not the desire of the department to call for a report upon such lines, meaning they don't want to speak too much about it. They just want to keep it real brief. I will therefore confine, meaning there was a lot more to say on that. There was a whole lot more to say, but I'm going to confine. I'm going to confine these remarks to general conditions existing which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. 1. Citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure as Moorish subjects. With the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship. So if I say I reside in Morocco and I don't have no ID at all, that proves that I'm a citizen of a foreign government, then by default I'll be an ipso jure Moorish subject. But I do have a nationality card and a self-identification card, so I actually can identify who I am. But if I didn't, I would still be considered ipso jure Moorish subject because my bloodline, I'm more as any dark-skinned person, y'all. Any. which means every dark-skinned person. But see, any, because now all people know who they are. They think they're something else, but not a lot of people know who they are. All right. 2 and 3. Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. It was established by the Convention of Madrid, concluded July 3rd, 1880, as follows. Any subject of Morocco who has been naturalized in a foreign country and who shall return to Morocco shall, after having remained for a length of time equal to that which shall have been regularly necessary for him to obtain such naturalization, choose between entire submission to the laws of the empire and the obligation to quit Morocco, unless it shall be proved that his naturalization in a foreign country was obtained with the consent of the government of Morocco. Yo, are y'all, yo, yeah, are y'all reading what I'm reading? So not only, okay, ooh, okay, all right. So what does it say? Any subject of Morocco who has been naturalized in a foreign country, so you naturalize in a foreign country, and who shall return to Morocco, shall, after having remained for a length of time, meaning you done left the United States and came back, right? You done repatriated back to your country, your nation, and you've been back in your country and nation for a good lengthy amount of time, okay? Which would be necessary to complete the naturalization process, right? Choose between entire entire submission to the laws of the empire and the obligations to quit Morocco. So unless there is proof that you have chosen, okay, to quit your obligation to Morocco, which is what the naturalization process is, because you relinquish all allegiance to any foreign subject, any monarchs and governments and etc. etc. So if you haven't done that voluntarily, if you haven't volunteered to relinquish your obligation to the laws of the empire, then you're not that. Unless it shall be proved. So the only way that that would not stand is unless someone can prove that your naturalization in the United States was obtained with the consent of the government of Morocco. I'll get back to that part too, because you're going to see some foreign naturalization heretofore acquired by subjects of Morocco according to the rules established by the laws of each country shall be continued to hereto as regards all its effects without any restriction. The above ruling has never yet been acted upon, and should this at any time be contemplated seriously, a large number of naturalized people, American and others, residing in Morocco would be affected thereby. 4 and 5. Residence in foreign parts does not affect the nationality of Moorish subjects. Residence in foreign parts does not affect the nationality of Moorish subjects. That's why I say it's okay to get a public business, aka state ID card. Even though it has your title in all caps, it does not change the fact, or it does not affect the fact that you have a nationality. But like I tell my Moors, that should be your secondary uh, thing of identification. Other than that, passport. Then once you have your passport, you're good. You got your 2 forms of ID. You don't need to worry about that. But otherwise, okay, having a state ID and your free national name with your headdress on does not affect your nationality. So, boop, get that out your mind. It's not real. Break that shackle, right? Break that chain. Let's see here. Does not affect the nationality of Moorish subjects, and the Moorish government has no means of protecting its subjects permanently residing in other countries, with the exception of a so-called Moorish consul at Gibraltar and a Moorish agent at Cairo, Egypt. So what that is saying is that even for Moorish subjects who choose to go out into foreign countries, your government doesn't plan to protect your ass forever from a foreign country. Meaning it's supposed to be temporary, transit. You're supposed to be transiting through the United States. That's supposed to be there permanent. It's supposed to be forever moving through, navigating through, like water. All right? So, y'all, if you haven't naturalized in a foreign country, you haven't formally relinquished uh, your allegiance to your Moorish empire and the laws thereby, then you're not a U.S. citizen. And when they say here, look, it shall be proved, right, that his naturalization in a foreign country was obtained with the consent of the government of Morocco. With the consent of the government of Morocco. Who is the government of Morocco? Because last time I checked, the government, right? We went over government. Government is the system on how things operate. So government is not a who. Government is a what. So when they say obtained with the consent of the government of Morocco, then that would have to be with the consent of the laws and tenets of our ancient ancestors, right? So nowhere in those tenets does it say that it's okay for us to uh, relinquish our allegiance to our mother country. You will not find that in any treaty for any nation anywhere on this planet that it's okay for you to abandon your mother country. You'll never find that shit in human analogy that it's okay for you to abandon your mother. It's not okay to abandon your mother. It's not. So if it's not okay in regular relational situations, what makes you think it's okay amongst nations? No nation will encourage you to abandon your allegiance to your mother nation. No nation will do that. Okay? So unless they can prove that your Moorish nation approved you abandoning them, then they can't prove that you're not a Moor. Bang, bang, right? Exactly. Naturalization is done by immigration. Are you an immigrant? Thank you very much for that, brother Charles, brother Charlie. Well, that's why we don't go by a phrase of, see, American national is not a nationality. American national just means you're an American that has a nationality. We all know what American means, right? So therefore, if I'm an American national, I could say I'm a Haitian, I'm a Cuban, I'm a Brazilian. Those are American nationals. I'm a Moor. That's an American national. But you see, me saying I'm a Moor, what I'm stating is that I'm still a subject of the old government that was here prior to the establishment of the colonies, aka the United States of America. That's what I'm stating. And because of the fact I've never formally relinquished my allegiance to my mother country, and I actually have on the record that that my allegiance is strongly connected to my mother country. I have that on the record. And you don't have proof that I did naturalize, that I did go through the process, and you certainly don't have proof that my government approved it. And my government meaning my people. You don't have proof that my people approved that. So you see how you can just eliminate all unnecessary thoughts. Okay? In dealing with our treaty. Our treaty is supreme. You need to know who you are so that way you can relate to your treaty. Because everyone knows for some reason that there's a relation between Morocco and Moors and the Moorish Empire. This is a congressional record I'm reading right now. That's talking about Morocco. But for some reason in Morocco, they're talking about Moorish subjects. What does Moors have to do with Morocco? The rest of the world knows this except us, man. We need to stop playing games with each other. We need to stop playing games with each other. All right? And you know, I'm good, family. I think that's good. That's a good enough wrap on U.C.C. R.I.P. to U.C.C. R.I.P. Deuces. Au revoir. No need for it. Neither necessary nor effective when you got your treaty on point. All right? And no one can tell you who you are and who you are not. The burden of proof falls on them every time, never on you. All right? So with that said, family, love y'all. Peace. Islam. Enjoy y'all Sunday. And let's keep it rolling. Bang hard with your treaty. Bang hard with your treaty. And bang hard with your treaty. Islam. Before I go, let me ask a few. Yep. Islam, Islam.